However, something interesting that came up in the news this week was that Sergio Hernandez, the black belt out of San Diego, he's a black belt from Baret Yoshida, and Sergio made the headlines for his grappling abilities, but in a slightly different context, because he actually ran after, took down, and then tangled up in a triangle choke, I believe, a burglar. A burglar. I was like, what? What's going on there?
2018, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, and if you've ever seen Sergio's game, he's a fight-to-win veteran and a black belt, and he's got a really unorthodox game. You know, he does a lot of like that reverse closed guard, and he does a lot of stuff I think he calls like Sergio guard, which is kind of, I'm not even sure, but he's extremely flexible, and so he has like a lot of these crazy positions that like I could never get in.
I don't think anybody else could do it. It's like so particular to him.
It was kind of interesting how he secured the guy, right? So he put him in a triangle. A lot of times when these videos make their way to the internet, you see guys holding someone down in mount.
Like the Matt Serra video in the restaurant recently, right? Sat on the guy pinning his arms and, hey, you gonna chill out?
Exactly. But this one, I mean, the guy is completely just, he's incapacitated. He can't do anything, right?
He's playing nice right there, right? He's kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna move.
At
you
that
know?
point, it's kind of over. So.
And it's interesting.
The video shows it's over.
Sergio's comment here as well is that, you know, we talk about sport jiu-jitsu, and you mentioned about his funky jiu-jitsu game. He does this weird guard pulling and like almost like bottom side control stuff, and like and then he says, you know, he threw him to the ground using what little judo he knows, and then puts him in a triangle until the cop showed up. And I think that's an example of how a trained athlete, a sport jiu-jitsu practitioner, is going to have an edge in a self-defense situation, you know, over an untrained individual, purely because they actually know how to handle somebody, how to move a resisting opponent, you know? I think all these like self-defense scenarios, we should say, you know, when it's like, oh, if the guy does this, you do this. It's so theoretical, man. It's never based in reality, you know?
Great thing about jiu-jitsu is that it's a game over position, right? When you get the guy in the lock like this, it's done, right? Yeah. Checkmate. If you want to try to punch some guy, you guys, you know, you could potentially get hit, but this is like, all right, you're done, you're stuck. You should note though that he's got the triangle from mount, so I wouldn't recommend putting him in a triangle from guard.
He says that the guy outweighed him by about 50 pounds as well. So, you know, Sergio's not a big guy, right? He's like 135 or something like that, maybe 140. And you know, you're on your back on the concrete, and a 185-pound guy could probably pretty easily lift you up and slam you if he felt like it, right? Drop you in some flower pots or something.
Exactly.
I don't know. But smart.
Yeah, who knows? In those
on
situations, right? Like anything can happen. Most times, it's probably best just to call the authorities or something like that. But yeah, made for a sweet Instagram post.
And it literally made like, you know, national headlines as well. It was amazing. You know, it was run on news networks and stuff.
Obviously, Sergio's a dude who likes to take things into his own hands and make sure a job gets done right. So,
one other thing about Sergio as well, I'm not sure if people know, but he's a badass tattoo artist as well, right? And you check out his Instagram account, Splurgio, Splurgeo, Splurgio. And man, take a look at some of his artwork because it's super cool. And he's actually done a bunch of jiu-jitsu tattoos. He actually did a bunch of Jeff Glover's tattoos as well. And he's got some really nice ones.
You want another jiu-jitsu tattoo?
Do I? I don't know. I'm not feeling it now.
You don't have any tattoos?
I want more tattoos, but no jiu-jitsu tattoos.
Gotcha.
I think if I were to get a tattoo, it would be jiu-jitsu related. Yeah. Because that's like the one thing that's really, I think, going to stick with me forever. Yeah. Changed my life. I'm obsessed with it. So I identify with the jiu-jitsu.
You gonna get jiu-jitsu saved my life?
Nah, I don't think I would do that. That's a little cliche.
Yeah, but there are some good and bad jiu-jitsu tattoos out there, aren't there? I like Jeff's because Jeff was like a Grim Reaper heel hook into the body, you know, and like Sergio's kind of like old-fashioned style. That was kind of funky. But yeah, man, Sergio Hernandez, what a badass.
Yeah, that was a crazy story for sure. I didn't expect to see that one.